What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So possibly the fight that everyone is most looking forward to, if you can believe it. There's 2 title fights on this card, but the people's main event, Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat Chimaev, is happening on the main card. It's jerking the curtain before the 2 title fights, and a lot of people think Khamzat Chimaev is going to deal with Burns and move himself right into a title shot. But here's the deal. Khamzat Chimaev, we've seen what he does. He's an incredible wrestler. He's got tenacious ground and pound. He does have really good power. But if you were to try to put together in your mind a fighter that could legitimately beat a Khamzat Chimaev, you would say, give me a guy that is one of the best in the world at no-gi submission grappling. Gilbert Burns won a medal at ADCC. He is a jiu-jitsu world champion. He's got really good power himself. And then you know what? Why don't we sprinkle in the potentially the best welterweight of all time, Kamaru Usman, as a training partner to prepare him for Khamzat Chimaev? And that is literally what you have here. Gilbert Burns is tailor-made to beat Khamzat Chimaev, but a lot of people, including myself, think Khamzat's going to get this job done.
Yeah, I think the Khamzat hype train is absolutely real. If you're not on it, after this fight, you're probably going to get on, but it might be a little late. We'll have to see if we have some space for you. When it comes down to making a star in the UFC, a lot has to happen. You have to basically catch lightning in a bottle. You have to obviously have the skills, right? You have to have a look, an accent can help, but a look that people are interested in. You have to have a country or a part of the world behind you. You have to be, a charismatic, invincible seeming person, and you gotta come out there and put on epic performances. And if you can put all that together, which is very hard to do, you can really, really start to make waves in this sport. And I think Khamzat Chimaev does all of that. And one other thing that he adds to that, which is very, very difficult to do, and only a few fighters in any sport have been able to do, is he has made it where I don't even care who Khamzat fights now. I know because of how good he is, he's only going to get other big names in the sport. But I don't care who he fights. I just want to see more Khamzat. And that's something that most fighters have a really hard time doing, and almost nobody can do it. Everybody needs a good dance partner. That's Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal. Those 2 needed each other. As much as they hated each other, they needed each other. Khamzat Chimaev, I don't care who he's in there. They could have given him another unranked opponent, and I would have been just as excited, because I'm interested in the Khamzat story. I'm interested in seeing his development. And while he is kind of getting shot right up into the top of the heap, he deserves it, and he's going to make for a very, very entertaining superstar if he's able to get a win over Gilbert Burns. In my opinion, this is the absolute right test for him, and even though it's only his 3rd fight at 170, if he wins this one, I think he's getting a title shot next.
I don't see how you can. I mean, Gilbert Burns is the number 2 guy in the world. It wasn't that long ago that he was in there fighting for a title. And oh, by the way, he rocked the champ. Now, we all know that he lost that fight because Kamaru is just that good. But he did have the welterweight undisputed world champion on shaky legs there for a second. So if Khamzat can deal with Burns, then I don't think there's any denying him. And I think, like it or hate it, Khamzat Chimaev is fighting for a UFC belt before the end of 2022.
Yeah.
That really just kind of depends on Kamaru, what happens with the Leon fight and how much time he wants to take off. He's talking about boxing Canelo and stuff like that. But at minimum, Khamzat fights for an interim belt or just all out the undisputed belt before the end of the year, provided that he gets past Burns. Now, Burns is going to be dangerous in a couple of places. Burns does have a lot of power, especially at 170. Burns is very good on the ground. His submission skills are as good as they come. He can submit you everywhere from the neck to the feet, meaning chokes, arm bars, twisters, heel hooks, knee bars, everything. He can do it all. And a lot of times wrestlers have the tendency to overextend themselves on their ground and pound. I haven't seen that out of Khamzat yet. He hasn't shown us a weakness in that point. But if there is one there, believe me, Burns will find it, and he will put Khamzat in a very dangerous position. But I do believe that Chimaev is as good as advertised. I believe his skill set is as good as we all believe it is, and everybody is saying it is. And most importantly, the top of the list would be that Khamzat Chimaev has an undeniable self-belief, and he is more confident, but possibly than even Conor McGregor was when he was running through the 145 division. I mean, there is really something to be said for a fighter that's undefeated and truly does not believe they can be defeated. They fight differently. They fight with this relaxed air. They're not nervous. They just get in there and cerebrally do their thing. And then you add all of that together with the fact that he's been all over the world for this training camp. Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand to get some of the best striking looks in the world. His home gym in Sweden with Darren Till, who's also a very good striker. He's at the Performance Institute now in Vegas. He's been there for a couple of weeks getting the weight cut done right, proper strength and conditioning, proper nutrition. I'm looking to see the best version of Khamzat Chimaev yet, and I think he's going to beat Gilbert Burns. I'm going to say ground and pound, 4th round, because Gilbert is such a tough gentleman that it's going to take a few rounds for Khamzat to really get him out of there. And I do think, Chimaev might be wearing the fight on his face a little bit, which he hasn't up until now. But I still think he's going to get him out of there.
Yeah, I don't see this fight going more than 1 round.
Wow.
This is how crazy this guy is. I think that Gilbert Burns is obviously a tough dude. He's competed at the highest level, not only at mixed martial arts, but other combat sports as well. He knows what he's doing, but sometimes these moments can just eat up a fighter, and I think that there's a lot of pressure on Gilbert Burns because he is that elite fighter that got thrown in there against a guy who was unknown basically a year and a half ago. Nobody knew who Khamzat Chimaev was. They didn't know what that was.
Now he's all everybody's talking about.
Right, and say everybody's like, oh, well, we just got to get him in there with somebody in a top 5 or top 10 position, and let's see how he does because we think he's going to mop the floor with you. And when you get the call to be that guy, it almost feels like you're representing everybody else that's ranked. And if you don't win and take this guy out of there and show him that, hey, you're still back there in the minors as far as the UFC goes, it's going to take you a while to get down here. It can really, really start to cause a panic. And I think what we're going to see is Khamzat Chimaev's a bit of a character.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's entertaining. He's, a little bit brash. He's interesting. He's literally like a mix between Khabib and some of the Conor McGregor antics, because he does have the trash talk, which is unlike Khabib. He's confident with the skills that he brings, and his skills are not only on the ground, but they're very much so on the feet as well. His striking is ridiculous. Power's really, really good at 170. I see him rocking Gilbert Burns early with a shot. I don't see him taking too much damage. I think we're going to wind up on the ground. He's going to get Gilbert's mind a little bit flustered and a little bit out of sorts, and he's going to look to submit one of the greatest grapplers in the UFC in Gilbert Burns. Now, I don't know if I'm going to bet on the fact that he gets a submission. I like the ground and pound that you said, but I think we might see him go for a rear naked choke or something like that against Gilbert Burns in the first round. And I think he's going to open that up with good striking. And personally, even before the camp that he ran down in Thailand and with Darren Till and over there with Sean Strickland, his striking was still levels above Gilbert Burns. And even though Gilbert's got good pressure, Khamzat's speed's too much to deal with. His shots are going to be hard. Gilbert's going to have to pay for him. He's going to be shooting for takedowns. I just see Khamzat landing one early and then getting the job done on the ground. You know what? I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go first round submission for Khamzat Chimaev.
Nice. And hey, listen, it wouldn't be the first time that an ADCC medalist got submitted inside of the UFC's Octagon.
That's right.
Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you're new here, we talk about all things MMA and combat sports related. So if that's your bag, we do appreciate a subscribe to the channel and a like on this video. And have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.
Peace.